Celebrating any well, no. Right, that's right. Celebrating you go this way, you go that way. Well, I'm here. How are you guys doing?
I'm mad. We're gonna get to know each other.
Good evening, everybody. How we doing tonight? Orchestra is here in the side door Wednesday, and they will be back for a lot of more Wednesdays. Man, I'm so happy. We're going to make this home base for a while, and we're going to have a hell of a lot of fun because people used to say, man, you can't get a big band in there. Well, they came in here and they smoked this room so beautifully. And I said, hell yes, they can come back, man. Their sound is incredible. And it is just a joy to start this incredible journey that we're going to do together. And I'm so excited. Put your hands together, Sean Nelson and the One, two, three, four.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the side door.
Yeah.
My name is Sean Nelson. Sean Nelson Jazz Orchestra. You fit in here just fine. I don't know what that's usually the first question. How do you guys fit everybody in there? Well, here we are. So excited to be here. So fun. So it's my favorite place to play in the world, right here. First tune you heard was Social Hour, our theme song. My composition, we heard from Matt Parker. Jen Allen. On this beautiful grand piano. Yet another reason I love playing here. It's great to hear you on a real piano. Most of the time you hear Jen on the electric version, which is a poor substitute. And you sound beautiful. That was Haneef Nelson on the trumpet. Lou Bocciarelli on the bass. On the drums, first time with the band, Dan Pugach. On the guitar was Austin Phillips. The second tune you heard was one by Quincy Jones. That was called Stockholm Sweetnin. And the third tune that you heard was one recorded by Harry James. That was called Keb-Lah, and it was composed by Juan Teasel. If we have any jazz heads, which I imagine we do. He was also the composer of the tune Caravan, him and Duke Ellington, so you can hear some similarities. Yeah. So I like playing that tune. So I'm excited for many reasons to be here. One of them is that the acoustics are great for so many different kinds of music, and a lot of times when we play in large spaces, or spaces that aren't acoustically as beautiful as this, you play more intricate art music. Sometimes it gets lost in those venues, and so playing here, it felt like a chance to dig into some of our, you might call it deeper cuts in our library, and this will be one of them. This is a composition that we recorded on the album called Social Hour, which will be available after the show. I'll be happy to sign copies too. It makes great gifts. Even if you don't have a CD player, hey, it makes great wall art. My kids are like, they think CDs are toys. They don't even know how to use them. They just like throw them. They're shiny. This next tune is called Devil's Punchbowl, and is a composition of mine. On the album, we recorded it as a trombone solo where I played. Mixed it up a little bit, and it's going to feature Matt Schmidt on the baritone saxophone. And the tune, the name Devil's Punchbowl refers to a pond in Alaska, and I went on this very cool hike, and it was just beautiful. So here we go. Here it is, Devil's Punchbowl. time for Matt Schmidt.
Hey, Schmidt!
That tune was called At Long Last Love. How about Jen Allen on the piano?
Yes,
Matt Parker. It's recorded by Count Basie. I think Count Basie style of music sounds great in here. I love it. It's the loud
I'm
and
all over it.
soft.
Yeah.
You know, among the many reasons I love playing the side door is hearing Ken cheer the band. Yeah, it's contagious. I'm coming down with a fever for the Ken energy. Ken was telling me we were hanging out here when we were discussing how this was all going to work. We were sitting over there just hanging out. Ken was telling me a story about when he heard the Count Basie Orchestra play at a roller rink in Misquamicut, right? I was like, come on. Why didn't you call me?
It changed my life.
And I still, you said you were sitting right in front of the band, right in front of Freddie Green, guitarist, and you said they were just cooking along real quiet, and then basically just did this, and the band just came roaring in. It's just a soft, loud, soft. I mean, it's just you can't beat it. Did I get the gist of the story?
Yeah, you totally got it. I mean, it was such a moment. It influenced my love of jazz. That second.
Yeah.
When that happened, my life, I felt that. It was a very emotional moment, man. To see a band that's been on the road that long, hot, 100 degrees, kicking it the way they did. It's just like a magical time. This is a magical band.
Call me next time you hear. Next time you go to see him. Call me.
I will, man. I wish I knew you better. I would have been there.
All right, time for another deep cut. This is also off our album called Social Hour, a composition of mine. We got the whole woodwind family. I counted 16 woodwind instruments. These five players have. So all right, I gotta do it. We gotta go through them all. We got all the saxophones. We got bari sax, tenor sax, and alto sax. Yeah, the normal. And we have flutes. How many flutes we got here? We got four. We got 4 flutes. We got B-flat clarinets. Those are also known as regular clarinets. Yeah. Regular.
Licorice.
Yeah, licorice stick. I don't get it. And then we got bass clarinet. That's the larger clarinet. It's 1 octave lower than the regular clarinet. And then we have the most fascinating and exciting, the bassoon. How about that? Yeah. Hey, careful where you wave that. So here we go. Are you ready for the title? This is named after a phrase I read in a book by Stephen Hawking. He was talking about Stephen Hawking, the physicist. Remember, he's in a wheelchair, he's disabled, talks to the machine. And he wrote this book about generally the vastness of space and time. That's all I really understood about it. It was very cool. So this is one of the phrases he used in it. The title of this piece is called Every Possible History of the Universe. On the album, actually, so one fun thing we did on the album is the very last, couple seconds of the tune, it kind of ends abruptly. And I sort of imagined it like the end of the universe, the beginning of the next universe kind of thing. And so to simulate that, I remember Jen played a B-flat. I think it was an octave. Just bang. Can you play that B-flat? That's all it was. She played that note. But then, using the magic of technology, we did it backwards. That's kind of like what the Beatles did. So it's like, yeah. And it just stops, and that's the end of the universe. So we won't be doing that today, unless you got some tricks up your sleeve. If you want to hear the backwards piano note, you got to get the CD, or check us out on streaming and all that. So here we go. Here's Every Possible History of the Universe. It's only about 5 minutes or so condensed version. How about our woodwind section? Matt Parker, Tyler Wilkins, Erik Elligers, Josh Thomas, Matt Schmidt. Next up, we have one from the pen of Maestro Haneef Nelson. This tune is called Blues from the News. It was written in 2019, but it feels oh so prescient right now.
Prescient?
Yeah, did I use that correctly?
I don't know.
Yeah. Somebody asked ChatGPT. Right? Nobody checked, just tell me. Blues from the News. It's blues. It's feeling a little down about the news. You're gonna hear towards the end, out of nowhere, you're gonna hear the cable news blaring, right? That's what I always think of programmatic. Just out of just this blaring, and then it just kind of goes away again. So I enjoy that. It feels something. So here you go. Here's Blues from the News, composed by Haneef Nelson. composer, trumpeter, Haneef Nelson. And how about our whole trumpet section? Wingfield, Don Clough, Seth Bailey. The trombone section, Leroy, Loomer, Vince Yanovitch, Wesley, Mayhew, on the bass guitar. We're going to play one more tune for you, and then we're going to take a break. Boy, that hour just flies by. How about that? Well, this is the debut of our residency here at the Side Door Jazz Club. The band was formed in 2019. 2016, hold up. 2016, I'm coming up on 9 years here in November, 9 years. And so this is an exciting new chapter for the band. So along with that, formerly known as the New London Big Band, now it's the Sean Nelson Jazz Orchestra. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on with us. So very excited about that. So as I mentioned, some of the tunes we played off our album, Social Hour. We also just released another album earlier this year, and that is called Don't Stop Now, The Lost Music of Thad Jones, written for Harry James. And so we also have that CD for sale, and that's also on vinyl record. Also, looks great on the wall. If you don't have a record player or a CD player, happy to sign it. We can all, everybody in the band will sign it. We're great with Sharpies, yeah. It's very cool, very cool. So please come check out the merch when you get a chance. For our final tune of this set, this is one, yet again, from the Count Basie Library. Actually, let me back up a little bit. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh my goodness. Is it anybody's first time here at the Side Door? We got any Side Door? No, we're all Side Door veterans. Yeah, we got one. Okay, great. Yeah, it's dark. Yeah, awesome. Well, there's so much cool, incredible music going on at the Side Door. So please keep an eye on the calendar, sign up for that mailing list. Is anybody's first time hearing the band? This band? Yeah, several first time. Awesome. So we're going to be back here next month, once a month, here at the Side Door. And that will be on October, I believe it's 29th. And that date, we're going to have with us the singer, Attila de Champlain, will be joining us. And then the following month, which is November, if you're a calendar person. In November, I believe that's November 17th. Don't take my word for it, though, because I could get the date wrong. That's right. Okay, thank you, Seth. November 17th, we have a special guest trumpeter coming up from Washington, D.C. His name is Josh Kaufman, and this is going to be a Harry James tribute night. And he is a Harry James expert. He owns 3 of Harry James's trumpets. His son is named Harry James. His last name's Kaufman. So this is a true story. We played with him in July when the band played at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. And I called him up, and he played a lot of the Harry James solos that we recorded on our album. And he's like, hey, I've got a bunch of this Harry James music. He got in touch with Harry James Jr., believe it or not. How many times am I saying that name? There's no other way to explain this story. Harry James Jr., he got in touch with him, started meeting him. He's like, I have all this stuff from my father. Do you want it? So he gave him his trumpets, these charts, all this stuff. So he's like, so I'm excited to dig in to a real Harry James night. So we got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. In December, we're going to take the month off from here, and we're going to be back at the Social. Didn't want to totally break ties with the Social. So we got we got 2 nights at the Social in December for our Christmas bash. Wear your ugly sweaters, all that fun stuff. So please find us online, SeanNelsonJazzOrchestra.com. We're on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and email. And what's the other one? Phone call. You can text me if you want. Text me your memes. Facts. Yeah, fun facts. Like animal facts. My kids are always telling me animal facts. Like about octopuses and stuff. I can't remember any right now. Anyways, where am I? Here's our final tune of this set. This is one recorded by Count Basie. This is called Back to the Apple. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Come on, come on. You! I heard you, baby. You got it. You got it. But it's in good hands. No, we just had.
The one right there is occupied.
Come on, Freddie! Yeah, there you go. No. I think the first show thing was so so many legendary pieces that came in and we loved the place. And then I went to Birmingham and I got that. And I also bought some vibes. Like a lot of radio. I love it. Joel? Yes. Yeah. Oh, you can actually show so you see that? Here? I mean, so what years?
Oh, yeah.
As they should.
Yeah, it's great. We underestimated the
Oh, I'm sure. I don't doubt it. You love it. What's his name? Yeah. Oh my God, that's phenomenal. Well, you know,
Yo, hey, how you been? Yeah, good to see you.
that's
Good, good.
it's like,
Yeah.
I've been, you know, he plays with the band. That's out of Boston.
Sorry, Wesley.
That's that bird. There's a band he was with. You know, we've had quintets, trios, and my own
I need to know if there's any options.
musicians, right? And you know, we had, you know, it's like I call yeah, and like Tyree McDowell, singer. Joe Williams with the Cowboys.
Yeah, I know. Otherwise,
you know, it's coming.
oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
You play with Bob? Yeah. Oh, he's that guy.
I know I need to sell some.
He's got a lot of history. Here? I haven't been finished. I booked it up from like April to November. But that was a lot of people. I don't remember. I stopped managing.
I've actually
There was a drummer.
Yeah, he is. He's finishing school. He's kind of a light semester.
I know a great deal.
Hey, how you doing?
You know, it's
I responded to that. And oh. Oh, well, I think it's... Oh, yeah.
You really got to think.
It's kind of like jazz. No, I can't.
Like, do you think
Did you have posterity? Framed it with a ball.
So I never had. You know, I'm oh, I love it. Yeah. I remember I've been here. A lot of different things happening. Yeah, good. So you get that.
She's gonna do it anyway.
She doesn't like the group.
So much. Right. And now
Can I get you anything? Hot dog? Like a creme brulee.
kitchen, what did you say? No, that guy wasn't so hot. Oh, it's such a joy to meet you, man. I'll see you. Pleasure there. And this is just starting something.
But I wanted something so would have something else start going to each end. So I enjoy it.
How you going? Wait a minute. You didn't know that? They said that? Oh, okay. The gift gave it away. Oh, wow, okay. Oh, wow. So I don't still know what instrument. So you do different, like, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, and she's actually really good at that. It's only like twice a year. And she's also
That's amazing. But you keep playing, keep it up. New York. Yeah, that's a little less
yeah, she's
demanding.
gonna do SSC like
Grass job, so it's a lot. I've never seen it. That's cool.
I think
Howard.
But I do think, and I love going to Wilkins. She loved it. I'm like, I love that we do that.
You get that?
They're 2 years apart, so I guess it was.
You know, it's funny.
Or maybe just even one.
It was like music for me. I was young.
The oldest, there hasn't been a game time when she hasn't played. Yeah. She said she got like, not saying so people have to have that start. Like, I'm not saying that. I know what I think and we talked about it, so I had that conversation. Serious? And I was like, she said she will she's scared to like put her neck out like that. No, I agree. Well, this summer.
Don't make her do it.
Like, I thought it was going to be real.
No.
We don't want her to
And that's what we were sharing out the
Homeless from Ohio.
I bet someone is dying by now. Wonderful.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, are we having a good time tonight? I am having a heck of a good time tonight. To have an orchestra like this come and play? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, man? This is just extraordinary, man. The second set. Let's hear it. Sean Nelson and his orchestra.
1, 2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4.
Ooh. All right. The first tune you heard was called, actually those two tunes were both by British composer and trombonist named Callum Howe. I love his music, it's very swinging. The first tune you heard was called Going Green. And the second tune was called On Stage. We heard from Matt Parker. And on the trumpet, Luke Wingfield. Now we're going to hear one from our pianist. She composed this next tune, which is called The Clearing, and we recorded it on our album Social Hour. Which, by the way, Mike, can I hold up your vinyl? Sure.
When I give the cue, everyone say ooh and ah.
Oh,
No cue. You gotta look at it first. All right, now you can say it. First, vinyl record, and there's a back too. And we can sign it too. Thanks, Mike.
So in addition to the experience and the sound of listening to vinyl, you get a larger thing to look at, which has words that are larger and easier to read. So did I mention it was larger? So that was that's our newest album, which is Don't Stop Now. Let me talk about that album for a minute. So we released it in April. This is music that was composed by Thad Jones, that he wrote for Harry James, and most of it was never recorded. Some of it was never even performed. And so we recorded it, and now it is out there in the world. We brought in Wayne Bergeron, on trumpet soloist from Los Angeles, to play the role of Wayne Bergeron. Wayne Bergeron played the role of Harry James, played the solos that were written for him. And we also brought in drummer John Riley from New York, who had a connection to Thad Jones, plays in the Vanguard Jazz Orchestra, which is a Thad Jones's legacy big band. So it's a very exciting project. We made number 29 on the jazz radio charts. Thank you. So it's very exciting that the music is out there. Backing up the album before that, which is called Social Hour, we recorded this one. And this is by composer Jen Howe, and it's called The Clearing, and it is named after when she was on a hike in a forest, and there was an opening, a clearing, and just sort of the natural beauty of that. Did I cover it? Anything else you want to add? No, but, so here it is. Jen Allen's The Clearing.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
One more time, composer Jen Allen. This next one is recorded by Dizzy Gillespie and composed by Quincy Jones. This is called Jessica's Day. It's going to feature, in the role of Dizzy Gillespie, Haneef Nelson.
One, two, three, four. 1, 2.
Haneef Nelson on the trumpet. Josh Thomas on the tenor saxophone. Tyler Wilkins on the alto saxophone. That tune was called Pandemonium. We heard from Erik Elligers on the alto saxophone. was Seth Bailey on the lead trumpet. We have another one from composer Jen Allen. This one, Amaryllis. Did I say it right? Amaryllis, like the flower. Flower. A lot of natural beauty, inspiration in your music. Is there... Here, tell them a little about... Is it just about the flower in general? Is there a story?
There's a little story, but I'll make it quick. So this is many years ago now, I had a student who gave me a box of a bulb. You know how you can buy these Amaryllis bulbs around the holidays? They gave it to me for Christmas. And I looked at it and I was like, this is what I get for teaching you? I was like, dang, man. Like, think about your teachers. Anyway, so I was very disappointed, to say the least. I put the bulb on the shelf and I just ignored it for months. And then one day I was like, I think I'm going to throw this out. And I opened it up and it actually was like blooming a little. And I was like, all right. This is like the start of my love of plants, actually. And then, so I potted it in this enormous, if you've ever seen one, they get like this huge. And then the flower is like that. And there were like 3 flowers on it. I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is a monster. And then it died, and then it bloomed again. And so I just was in awe, and I was forever grateful for that Christmas gift, even though I thought I deserved money. That's okay.
Now we have some. That's it. We're on a podcast.
times the E. 4 times the E. 2 trumpet, 2.
This next one is from George Gershwin. This is his Prelude number 2, as arranged by Callum Au. It's going to feature an opening by Jenna Allen and Matt Parker on the clarinet, Luke Wingfield on the trumpet. Here's George Gershwin's Prelude number 2. I think you'll recognize it. Maybe. Wingfield on the trumpet. That's a great tune.
Jen Allen on the piano.
Jen Allen on the piano. Dan Pugach on the drums.
Serious stuff, man. Serious.
So Dan is the leader of his own big band. And along with his wife, Nicole Zaritis, will be here in February. So stay tuned for that. Right here at the side door. Well, it's been such a thrill to play for you tonight here at the side door. It feels like an exciting new chapter. Sold out tonight, which is great. Which is great. It's great for many reasons. You ever throw a party? And you invite people and you say, is anybody going to come? Sometimes that's how it feels when you put together a concert. Is anybody going to come? So when it sells out, you go, all right, people want to come. So it feels good. So let's do it again. So once again, please find us online. We want to, SeanNelsonJazzOrchestra.com. Hold up. Spare jar. Find us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon Music and all the other musics. Please come check out our CDs and vinyl records. Happy to sign them. We got Sharpies and everything. So here is our final closing lullaby for the evening. This is another one from the Count Basie Library, composed by Benny Carter.
Man, yes.
This is called The Trot.
One, two, three, four.
Thanks for being like cool hangout corner tonight. That was awesome. I love it. I love it.
Oh, I got to sing. Yeah, you need a rhythm section. Give me the mic, man. I can see it.
I was just like being that little bulb in a box. I'm like, what's happening? I'm in soil. You know, what's wrong with me? Showing up because
I'm at the edge of well, the funny thing is, I thought that I
or we set a spot where they get to come out and play. Very cool. I told them, hey, the other idea is, obviously, something we had
I know.
Hey, thank you so much. Great to see you again. Next time we go and see you,